Go to chapter 10, right? AS level business, product or service design. When we talk about product design, basically we're talking about the creation of the process of creating new products by sales businesses to sell to their customers. That's what product design. That means you are creating a new product. That is product design. So let's just go on and see what they say. Many products and service design. Many businesses are keen to bring new products and services to the market. New products and services help to generate more revenue and ensure that business remain competitive. The process of creating a new product or service is called product design. I said that already. It involves generation and development of ideas through a process that leads to new products or services. So different ideas will be generated, and at the end of it, it will lead to creating a new product or service. That is product design. Once a business has identified a need for a product, a design brief can be written. This will contain features about a product that design can use. For example, a business aiming to produce a new travel iron may write a design brief such as new travel iron that is compact and possesses all the features of a full-size model. Designer can work from this design brief when designing the new travel iron. They may take into account. So when I talk about design brief, it talks about what you have to put together and what the product must look like at the end of it all. So how does it look like? What they said, the shape and the appearance of the iron. So we're talking about the outlook of the product itself, whether it fits the intended need. So there would have been the need for the product. So whatever product you have, whatever the design of the product you are making, it should meet up with the need that it's produced for.
Yes.
That's the second point there. How easily and cost effectively it can be produced. It can be produced from the design. So you have to check about cost effectiveness too. It's part of the design brief. The dimensions and preferred materials to be used. There will be components, there will be raw materials that has to be used for that design. So it has to be stated also.
Yes.
The image it gives when displayed. So what does it portray? What meaning do you think people will give to it when this product is being displayed?
Yes.
Whether the design should create a corporate identity, saying something about the image of the company. So are you creating this product to link it with the identity of the company, or you want to give it a different identity, which is not in line with the corporate, with the objective of the company, or with the name of the company? You know, some products are produced, and whatever the name of the products are or is, you will still find an element of the name of the business in that product. You get what I'm saying there? No. Apple, there's iPhone, right? So when you look at iPhone 1, iPhone X, all these iPhones, there's the Apple company. Do we call the name Apple 1 or Apple 2 like Samsung, that we have S2, X3, S7, Samsung 19? You know, does the name of the product that you are designing have to be in line with the corporate name of the business, or it has to be a specific name? Do you understand? For Samsung, you know, they use SSSS. So that means it's linked to the corporate name. For iPhone, it's not the same. There's nothing like like Apple. Do you get the point I'm making?
Yeah.
That's what they are talking about. The image, the corporate design of the business. Is it creating a design that will be linked? So whenever you hear the name or you see the name, you know it's Apple. Or whenever you see the name, you link it to Samsung. That is the point they're making there. So these are things you have to put into consideration when you are making a product design. We call it design brief. Is it clear?
Yes.
Any question about design brief? No. So go to design mix. So go to design mix. When we talk about design mix, these are various combinations of elements that we put together to design a product. That's what we call design mix. So that means we're going to talk about function, aesthetic, and the cost. So we start. So when designing any product or service, a number of key features have to be considered. These features may be referred to as the design mix. Like I said, these are various elements that we have to combine when we are trying to design the product. So we have cost. These are the elements we need. There's element for cost, the cost elements, the function elements, and the aesthetic elements. So we start with function. The product must be fit for the purpose, which means that it must be capable of doing the job that it's sold to do. So the function of a product is it must be able to serve the purpose of why the customers are buying it. So that means it must serve the purpose of why you are selling the product. That's its function. You get function here.
Yes.
So they said, for example, product design is also important for service as well as good. For example, the internet service provider must provide a reliable and safe connection. So at the end of it all, what product function is about is the usefulness of that product itself. It must serve the purpose. It must.
Yes.
I think it's clear.
Yeah.
That's the summary about that. So just go to cost. Or let me just read anyway. Maybe we need some information there. So, okay, the second paragraph, products and services should also be convenient and easy for the customer to use. People will get frustrated if they cannot download an app quickly or understand how to construct flat pack furniture from a set of instructions. So still on product function, it must be easily used. You must be able to use it with convenience. Not like you have to start searching the Google or for the product that you bought that you want to use, then you start looking for other means of understanding how to use it.
Yes.
It must be conveniently used. That's another form. That is also function. I think function is clear, right?
Yeah.
So for function, the product must be accessible, must be easily to be used, and it must be able to maintain it too. I think it's clear. So we'll go to, is it aesthetic? Okay, aesthetic, okay. For aesthetic, the products and service should stimulate people's sense in addition to performing the function. This is the product or service aesthetic appeal. Designers must consider elements of a product such as its size, the weight, the appearance, the shape, smell, or taste, or the presentation of the service, because it has an impact on the choices that consumer make. For example, some companies choose design that use more expensive materials to add to the aesthetic appeal of a product. So because the product that appeals to the sense may sell better, someone may buy a luxury car because they like the smell of the leather seats or the appearance of the wooden components and the atmosphere that this feature creates, rather than because of its fuel economy of scale. As the cost of resources and manufacturing comes down over time, aesthetic is likely to become more important in the design mix. Product and service design has changed dramatically in recent years, as computers, vehicles, both mobile phones and music players have become more compact and more powerful. Many consumers prefer smaller and more portable products that are more user-friendly. So when you talk about aesthetic, we're talking about the outlook of the product, the smell of the product brings, the feelings of having the product around, not just how economical the product is. So aesthetic is talking about the shape, the smell, the outlook, the size. All these things must be conducive. All these things must be palatable for consumers. Because without these things, consumers might not even think about the price of it. So they want products that they feel great having it with them. That is aesthetic. Is it clear?
Yeah.
And the last one is now the cost, which is the economic aspect of it. A well-designed product or service is more likely to be economical, viable. This means that a business should be able to produce and sell the product or service at a profit. Therefore, designers will need to select materials and processes that minimize cost. For example, it was reported that Apple wanted to use curved glass for early iPhone models. However, the prototypes were too expensive to manufacture, so they were abandoned. In the airline industry, new routes must be cost-effective if they are able to introduce. Businesses often have to reach a compromise between design and cost. If costs are high, products or service may be dropped altogether. The economical aspect of manufacturing the product, it is important too. So when you are designing a product, you have to be able to design a product that will allow you to make profits. Allowing you to make profits means that it should be efficient in the course of in your production process. Because if you are not efficient in your production process, it becomes difficult to sell at a profit rate. Because when you incur more cost, you can't always increase the price because of the competitiveness in the market. So the best way to make profit is by reducing your cost of production in any way you can, so that you can sell as the same as others are selling. Then you might be able to make profit.
Yes.
So the design should be cost effective. Most of the time, businesses will drop design because of the cost. Like they mentioned Apple here. There was a design they wanted to use for their phones, but they felt it is not cost effective. They dropped it. But they find another route, or they find another way. They talked about the airlines too. If there are other shortcuts that they can pass through in the sky, it will reduce the hours spent, and that will reduce costs too.
Yes.
Maybe they will be able to charge lower, and they will also be making profit. Do you understand?
Yes.
So If at the end of it, the cost is not in line with your objective and the design is not going to give you success,
Yes.
you drop it, you drop the product design and you try to find another product design. Is it clear?
Yes.
Any question about that? I think cost, function, and aesthetic is clear.
Yes.
So we'll go on to design needs and social trend. Design needs and social trends. Product design, it's not clear, but I'm not using the other laptop. Product designers need to be aware of changes in social trends. For example, people have become increasingly aware about the effects their lifestyle have on the environment. What is about global warming, resource depletion, and pollution have encourage many to adopt more environmentally friendly lifestyles. Businesses have to also respond to pressure from the government, media, and consumer groups by taking into account environmental issues in the design of their products. For example, their design may not attempt to reduce waste and facilitate the reuse of and recycling of products and packaging. So, what they're talking about the design is and social trend is. Social trend means what happens within the society right now. What is trending in the society? So, yes. There's global warming. People start talking about global warming. People start understanding the importance of having a safe environment. People understand now that there should be social responsibility in terms of resource usage. We should not finish resources now because of those coming after us. So all these things made businesses to start thinking about an efficient way of producing their products. Yes. That is it. So what are the different ways in which businesses are trying to adopt to ways of being socially responsible when they design their product? One, design for waste minimization. Firms are under increasing pressure to design products that minimizes waste. So they have to design a product. They have to design products that would come at the end of it all, it will not waste resources. So how do they go about this? Products that they use, okay, they said waste minimization can take place in numbers of ways. One, they can produce products that use products that use a lot of energy and other resources in manufacturing should be designed to be more doable by designing products that might last a lifetime. So if they have to be made with a lot of energy, then let them last for a longer period of time, not just a product that will last for a year or two and it's over. Yes. Because if it only lasts for a year or two, that means we have to use another resources again when we need to produce such products. Yes. So we should make it last longer. That's what they are talking about there. Yeah. Two, that's the first one, right? The second one, products could be designed to be smaller and lighter. So that's another, that's the second one, right? Products could be designed to be smaller or lighter. This will help to save the amount of material used in production. Resources used in handling, packaging, and transport will also be reduced. So make them so light and smaller. So because if it is light and smaller, it won't take a lot of resources to make them, a lot of materials to make them. The third one, designers could be discouraged from designing single-use disposable products. Single-use disposable products. Products such as disposable razors, plastic spoons, cardboard plates, and paper cups can be replaced with durable equivalents. There's probably a lot more scope here for businesses to make improvements. At the moment, the amount of packaging used by businesses and thrown away by customers is considerable. So products that we buy and we have to use them and throw them away. They should be designed in a way that as soon as we throw them away, or instead of we throwing them away, we can use them again, maybe through recycling. That's the point there. And the last one, in the restaurant, industry dishes and menus could be designed to reduce food waste, such as meat off-cuts. Even in the restaurants, design a meal to the way that it will not be waste. Let them buy meals that they will finish up. They won't want to trash them. They won't want to throw them away. And even if you have to give them give them packages that can still be used afterwards, not like carton or like what do we call it? Paper or not paper, like how do we call them? Like cardboard papers. When you use them in packaging, as soon as the food is taken away, you just have to throw it away because it doesn't have second-hand value. So make packages that can still be used for other things, even if it's home, not to be littered around. So that's the point. So if you are designing a product, whatever product you are designing, make sure it doesn't waste resources. And to make sure it doesn't waste resources, You have to make them smaller or lighter. You have to make them in a way, you have to design them in a way that having used the product inside, it can still be used for something else.
Yes.
So that's about that. Then we'll go down to, not said, although there are clear benefits of designing products that reduce waste, many businesses have not embraced the idea. For example, many products are discarded because they are considered out of date. In the fashion industry, for example, clothes and accessories are often worn for a limited period of time only. They are discarded even though they are still functional. This is because fashions change and businesses can make money by selling consumers new season collections. At the moment, this is unlikely to change. There would need to be a radical change in social trend for people to change their behavior. So what they are trying to say here is that some products are designed to last longer, but for the fact that there are changes in consumer behavior, consumer attitudes towards those products, even if they are still functioning, they won't use them further. They need new ones. Like the clothes. Some clothes are not tall, they are not worn out. But for the fact that the trend now does not go in line with the clothes, it's old fashioned. Nobody wants to wear it anymore. So businesses have to produce new ones to sell more. So yes, this attitude is not likely to change over time because people need to be sensitized to understand that in as much as it's still functioning, you can still wear it. Though that is going to take a lot of things, because how can I still be wearing a cloth of some 4 years ago because it's still functioning? I wouldn't want to wear it. Even I won't feel comfortable wearing it. I wouldn't know what people will say about that because there are new trends. So how do I continue to wear it? So that's why they said it needs sensitivity. It's not something that will easily change. It's not something that you can easily talk to customers about and they will just forget it. And they start wearing it because it's still functional. They won't, because it is out of date. It is out of fashion. Yes. And everybody wants to relate with the trend. And the trend is what is happening now, not what is happening in the past.
Yes.
Do you get it? So that's about that. So we go to design for reuse. Resources can be saved if products are designed so that they can be reused. That means we're talking about designing a product that at the end of it all, we can still use it again.
Yes.
So, for example, mobile phones are designed to last for years, but are thought to have an average first use of around 18 months. So it is important that their component parts can be reduced to prevent waste. So for like mobile phone, the main example of mobile phones, mostly 2 years, you would want to forget it and buy a new one.
Yes.
But what about the components inside? Those components might still be useful instead of throwing the phone away. So that's why they're saying products should be designed in a way that even if you are not going to use the main product,
yes,
the components can still be useful in the future. Do you get the point there? Another approach for reuse is to design products so that the component can be easily reused. For example, Philips designed a new light bulb that was easier to take to pieces than previous light bulbs, so that the components parts could be reused. So also designing the products that they can return back even to the company. The company will know the way of buying them and they will start to use them to make new products too. Yes. I think it's clear. Then we go to design for recycling. We have it here. For recycling, businesses are making increasing use of recycling materials in their design. So businesses are adapting their production methods so that newly designed products can be produced using recycled materials. So for recycling here, new products will be designed, but you are using recycled materials for designing the new products.
Yes.
That's the first point there. Clear? Yeah. Some businesses specialize, the second one, some businesses specialize in the sole use of recycled material in their manufacture. For example, Rifa Sail Company makes its products from recycled materials, including boat and windsurf sails and kites, as well as from sail makers, roll ends and offcuts. Its products range includes deck chairs, cushions, buckets, bags, and children's stuff. So these businesses, their own product is being designed or produced through recycled material. The first one is you design a product by using, you make a new product by making a new product using recycled material. But here, whatever you have to produce will be based on recycled material. They are not the same. You're adapting the production method to design a new product using recycled material. That's the first one. Yes. The second one is strictly recycled materials for your production.
strictly recycled material.
That's material, yeah. So your production is about recycled materials.
And the first one is about adding.
You produce new products, but you have to use the component of recycled materials.
Okay.
Do you get the difference here?
Yes, so one is a whole like recycled.
Recycled.
And
The second one, the first one is making a new product with some components of recycled material.
some recycled material.
But here, the whole product will be based on the recycled material.
Okay.
The third one, some firms make use of waste discarded by other businesses in their designs. So here, they use waste
Yes.
to make their own products. I think it's clear. And in the last one, they said in the media, it may be possible to recycle material to save time and effort. For example, the same news stories might be adapted and used in several different formats. They might appear in print, online, as television broadcasts, as radio broadcasts, and as podcasting. So here, in media, the same information, but in different sources.
Yes.
You get it? So it's going to be the same information, but different sources, so that nobody misses out. So whatever source you want, you'll be able to get the same information from it.
How is that in the recycling?
How? What? You don't get it. They said in the media, it may be possible to recycle material to save time and effort. For example, the same news stories might be adapted and used in several different formats. It's the same story, but instead of creating new things to make the story, put it in different sources.
Ah, okay. Yes.
It's the same story.
Yes.
But why do we have to create a new page? Why do we have to create a new material for this old story? Why can't we just put this old story into different platforms?
Yes.
Oh, on Facebook, on internet, on on Twitter, on Instagram. Why do we have to make a new material like the news? It's in newspaper, but this same story, we have to put it in a newspaper again for people to see. Why do we have to create a newspaper? Why can't we just put it in different social media that were not available when we made the story? The point is, they are new stories. They are old stories, but they want people to be aware of these old stories. But they don't want to create new papers for these old stories. So what can they do? They put it in different platforms that would not need them to produce a new paper.
Okay, yeah.
Do you get it?
Yes.
The story is old, but we want it now. Instead of us to now start printing a new book for this old story, why can't we put it on different platforms that would not need us to print materials that will start wasting again?
Yes.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
So that's the point there. Then the last one is ethical. I think the last one is ethical sourcing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the next one is ethical sourcing now. For ethical sourcing, it said in order to reflect social trends, so businesses use ethical sourced resources in their design. Ethical sourcing means that the business use only material, components, and services from suppliers that respect the environment. When we talk about ethical sourcing, it means they are using materials, components from businesses that are socially responsible.
Okay.
You get ethical sourcing here. You get your components, you get your materials, the supplies come from businesses that are socially responsible. That is what ethical sourcing is.
Yes.
So you are buying the equipment, you're buying the components, you're buying the raw materials, but you only want to buy from businesses that respect the environment, businesses that are socially responsible. That is ethical sourcing. So you source for your materials from businesses that are socially responsible. That is ethical sourcing. Is it clear?
Yes.
So the rest are about, it's story. Another example of ethical sourcing is using businesses that respect, that pays minimum wages, businesses that do not use child labor. They are all socially responsible. Businesses that do not waste resources, businesses that do not want to finish our resources, businesses that try to get their raw materials from green plants or from recycled materials, businesses that basically respect the environmental situation of the society.
Yes.
So whatever they do in terms of their employment, in terms of wage pay, in terms of how they use resources, in as much as whatever they do is not going to affect the society, they are ethically sourced. So that is about ethical sourcing.
Yes.
Is it clear?
Yeah.
Any question about that? I think ethical sourcing is clear.
Yeah,
You're only getting your materials from businesses that are socially responsible. That's all it's saying. So we go to business benefits of adapting product designs to change in
Yes,
social
all
trend. Huh?
There's older some businesses like that.
Before now, eh?
Before the benefits of that, the get
Up, right?
Yeah.
I think it's not clear there. Let me see here. Ah, okay. I think yes.
There's older ones. Okay.
Yeah, I find it now. Okay, yeah. If this wait, although some businesses try to adopt an ethical approach, right? Okay. Oh, yeah. Although some businesses try to adopt an ethical approach to supplying products, it could be argued that the majority are still focused on lowering costs. For example, the cheap value brands in supermarkets are still very popular. Perhaps this is because people are more concerned with getting products for the lowest possible price. They may have little regard for ethically sourced products. So businesses, not that they don't want ethical sourcing, but it is expensive. So for you to adopt that style, it would have meant that you are able to pay for the price. And businesses will not, trust me, they will not always want to pay. So whatever the cost they incurred, they will have to transfer it to customers. But customers are always price conscious. So as a result of this, they don't want to care about ethical sourcing. They just want to produce products that the cost is low so that they can sell at affordable prices to customers. So that is the point they are making.
Yes.
So we want to try to source our products, our components ethically. We want to buy from businesses that are socially responsible. But these businesses will sell at a higher rate because it is expensive to be socially responsible.
Yes.
As a result, buying these supplies at a higher price makes our cost of production to increase, which we might not be able to transfer to customers. Because if we do, they might not buy from us. And we have to put into consideration that other businesses might not, our competitors might not ethically source for their own components or raw materials,
Yes.
which means they can sell at a lower price below more than ours, at a lower price than ours. So customers will not care about how ethical you are.
Yes.
They care most here about price. So you will not be selling. As a result, you forget about ethical sourcing.
Yes.
Is it clear?
Yeah.
So what are the benefits of adapting product designs to change in social trends? So although businesses may have to make an effort to reflect social trends in their designs, which could possibly increase costs, they are likely to be more lucrative benefits. So like I told you earlier, it is cost to adopt those changes, to be flexible in product design, to relate it to in relation to the social trend. It is cost, it is expensive because it might mean that you have to put away old ways of doing things to start a new way of doing things, to use technology, to design products that meet customers' behavior, customers' needs and wants. All these things will not come at a cheap. It will come with a cost. So, but it has its own benefits too. One, if businesses can reduce waste, they will use fewer resources. This will result in lower cost and higher profit. So if you are able to design, if you are able to be effective, efficient in your production process, it will only not reduce your cost, you'll be able to make profits. That's the first thing. So if designs reflect social trends, products are likely to be more popular and sell in larger quantities. This will raise revenue and improve profit. So if you are able to design your products to meet social trends, it will not only make your product to be popular, it will also increase your revenue, and at the end of it, you make profit. The third one, some businesses use their design features as a unique selling point. Product design can become a unique selling point for your product.
Yes.
It makes you different from those of your competitors, and that can even increase your revenue and profit, and also improve your reputation.
Yes, sir.
Businesses that adopt some of the emerging design features related to social trends are more likely to be viewed as good corporate citizens. Many businesses attempt to emphasize corporate social responsibility in their marketing strategy. By doing this, they aim to raise the sales revenue and profit. They may also avoid criticism from trading unethically. Like I said earlier, it's all about social responsibility. If you have designed your products to meet up with social trend, they will see you as businesses that are corporate responsible, businesses that respect the society,
Yes.
businesses that think about the future generation. So you won't have problems there won't be criticism about what you do. At the end of it all, your revenue will increase, your market share will increase. And especially customers that are always conscious about the environment,
Yes.
they will always be your customers. Is it clear?
Yeah.
That ends the chapter, right? Okay, so we have the case study to do.
How is that?